I find it coincidental or maybe providential that the same night I'm making a string of videos talking about how the American people really have an appetite for populism right now. We saw that with the election of Zoran Mamdani. We saw it with the election of Katie Wilson as Seattle's mayor. We're seeing it when you look at the polling, especially amongst young people. We saw it in the fear from both Republicans and Democrats in the House with the passing of this resolution today, Friday, November 21st, that condemns the horrors of socialism. Establishment politicians of either party who are in the pocket of billionaires, of big corporations, of foreign and corporate interest, they are really, really scared of this growing populist movement on both the political left and the political right, and the potential for both of those sides to come together and exercise our political will as one. Is there actually the potential for working class solidarity in this country? I find it providential that on a night where I'm making a whole string of videos on that subject, Marjorie Taylor Greene has announced that she is quitting Congress. As I was watching her video where she announces that she is going to resign from Congress on January 5th, I could not help but notice that she has harnessed a tremendous amount of populist language. I keep saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is a far more sophisticated politician than most people realize. We actually had an argument in my house, not an argument, like a debate about, you remember before Marjorie Taylor Greene was in Congress, she was like a crazy QAnoner who ran around spouting conspiracy theories and whipping QAnon all up into a frenzy. And we were having this debate in my house about whether or not she actually believed any of that. Was she a true believer in QAnon, or was she just like really aware of how to harness a movement, how to get a group of people who've all bought into a conspiracy theory to buy into you as a political candidate? Was she just able to harness all of that power, all of that crazy to get herself into Congress? I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think she was a true QAnon believer? Go back and look at the shit that she used to say in 2018, 2019. But I think that she is far more sophisticated and far more politically savvy than most people give her credit for. She understands her base, and she is willing to use incredibly incendiary rhetoric, incredibly extreme conspiracy theory rhetoric, because she understands her base. And now she realizes that MAGA is a sinking ship, and she is not going to be a rat that goes down with the ship. So she spent months on this revamp her image tour. She's tried to sound very reasonable and put together and say like, oh, I'm misunderstood. I've been portrayed incorrectly by the media for years. And it's interesting to me that she has this kind of like unhinged voice where she's like screaming and ranting and raving when she needs to be the far right QAnon MAGA politician. But when she's doing the image revamp, she's able to sound like very rational, very normal, like very reasonable. I'm just misunderstood. And, my positions appeal to the left and the right. I'm not a radical on these issues. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just concerned about starving children in Gaza. Like, she has all of the political talking points down. She has all of the political talking points down for a party that is moving in a different direction. She's out ahead. She anticipates where the political climate is shifting. She knows which way the winds are blowing, and she's fucking setting her sails in the right direction. She knows that America has an appetite for populism. She knows that on the left and the right, there is tremendous support for things like universal health care. There's actually support on both parties for stopping AIPAC from running our government. She knows that there is support for getting money out of our politics. She knows there is support on both the political left and the political right for all kinds of things she is now saying that she cares about. She wants to care about women. She wants to care about the people, working class people. She's trying to present herself as very reasonable and very reformed. She makes no apologies for what she's said in the past. She's not, everybody has done things in the past that they regret. Not everybody, a lot of people evolve their political and social opinions and beliefs as they learn more information, as they grow as human beings, as they learn better, they do better. As you acquire information and insight and wisdom, you are able to say, you know what, I had a really bad take back then. Actually, I was really ignorant. My opinion was formed out of ignorance or indoctrination from my childhood. I'm working on deconstructing from that. I'm working on learning to do better, and I'm going to do better. We haven't heard any of that from Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's been no, like, you guys, my positions in the past, reprehensible. I totally want to apologize for what I said back then. I want to work to make amends. None of that from her. She has not recanted a single position she has had in the past. She's just like, I'm just going to pivot, forget that I did and said all these terrible things for years. You know me now is very reasonable. And I'm somebody who's distancing myself from Trump. I'm distancing myself from this sinking ship. But not only that, she knows that Donald Trump ran as a populist in 2016. He tried to present himself as a populist to everybody and then showed the entire world that he only cares about billionaires. All he is doing is running this country into the ground so that he can grift off of taxpayers, enrich himself, enrich all of his super rich buddies. He's all about the corruption. He's not going to drain the swamp. He is the swamp. And folks on the political left and the political right, they are both seeing that. That's why MAGA is fracturing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, wait a minute, I can tell where this is going. I can tell what people are hungry for. They're hungry for populism. So let me present myself as a very palatable populist figure. She thinks that this is going to redeem herself. She thinks that this is going to be a moment where she can pivot and she can launch herself forward with even bigger political aspirations, and that everybody is going to be like just totally down with that. Unfortunately, because of the American political landscape, that may be true, right? She's basing these actions off of what other politicians have done to revamp their image, to pivot, to change in order to shift with the winds of whatever the current political climate is. There are lots of legitimate reasons why populism is a good choice in this country. There are lots of reasons that folks like Zoran Mamdani are getting elected, folks like Katie Wilson are getting elected, folks like members of city council here in Portland who are Democratic socialists are getting elected. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a Democratic socialist. Marjorie Taylor Greene, unless we hear her apologize for her past positions, work to make amends, we have zero evidence that she's had a change of heart. We have zero evidence that she understands the harm that she has caused for years and years. We are watching her make a political power play. We are watching her be a very savvy politician. She's a lot smarter than she seems. I know it can be tempting for us to see a blonde woman from the South with a thick accent and think that they're just a nut job and that they're not smart or sophisticated. No, I think she is. I also think that tiger has not changed her stripes just because she's trying to convince you to vote for her now, just because she's trying to distance herself, just because she wants to survive the coming political meltdown that's going to happen. We've got to be more savvy than her. We've got to understand what's happening. And at the same time, I think we need to understand why it is that populism is so appealing to so many American voters right now.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead.